Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here with a video I didn't think I'd ever make, but let's jump right into it. I got a nice little PowerPoint presentation here. Financial advice. You asked, so here it is. My typical video is fraught with disclaimers on not being financial advice. The entire duration of this video will be actual financial advice that I will always stand by, timeless financial advice. The secrets to increasing your wealth. Personal finance, just a little bit of background. I talked about it before, but personal finance has always been a passion of mine. I used to be an engineer. Math, numbers, spreadsheets, they go hand in hand. So throughout this presentation, you'll see a little bit of a few sources cited, some of my inspiration, and I also did note here Alpha Investments. Rudy, 1 week prior to when you see this video go live, Rudy made a video titled "This is Financial Advice," which prompted me to make this one. So here we go. At the end of the day, the secret is that there is no secret. Spend less than you earn and invest the rest. Let the power of compounding take you to where you need to go. I did underline invest the rest. That will be the title of the next slide where we'll delve into that deeper. But continuing on, get rich quick schemes generally keep people poor. Usually those schemes, things of that nature, are zero-sum games where very, very few take money away from very, very many. Most people lose money. One wins, a small handful win, if anything. Think Ponzi schemes, think lotteries. For the average participant, they're very, very bad. Generally speaking, you're going to have an average outcome. When the average outcome is negative, it is negative for most people. Not something you should be chasing, but it's a very common thing. People don't want to do the long, slow, boring route. People want to get rich quick. Another note that I made, you need to be careful because everyone out there is playing a different game and trying to find a rule of thumb or trying to find a shortcut. Something that's very common in the questions that I get when it comes to Pokemon. This video today is going to be broadly, largely general personal finance, but I will work in some Pokemon where I can. Very commonly, what percent do you pay? What percent do you sell at? What percent gain? Those shortcuts, even if they existed, my life, my goals, my situation is different from yours, and that's the same for everybody else. Or it's the same in that it's different for everyone else. So don't watch someone else on YouTube. Don't listen to someone else what they're saying. Copy them exactly. They might be trading on a day or for a week or for a year when you're looking at 50 years. Time frames are different, situations are different, just a general thing there. And one last thing that hopefully I can provide some clarity on it. I find people frequently put a disproportionate amount of energy into the wrong things at the wrong times. And what that means is sometimes people overanalyze beyond the amount of utility they can get from coming to the optimal solution. If you're spending hours and hours every day, hours and hours every week, say you're young, say you're 25, 30, somewhere in there, even I mean 32. I'm relatively young. I like to think I've got another 50 plus years ahead of me. If you're spending hours stressing and thinking over your 401k allocation and your 401k balance when it's a few $1,000s, an extra percentage point, an extra few tenths of a percent, an extra few basis points here or there, if you find the absolute optimal strategy, it isn't going to be like a proportional payoff for the amount of time. Same thing goes for Pokemon. I mean, sometimes I see people spending hours analyzing a $50 purchase or a potential $50 flip. The amount of time that you're trying to extract every penny out, you might be costing yourselves dollars in lost opportunity cost otherwise. I don't think too many people in this age bracket are watching, but say you're 65 and you've got a 7-figure nest egg, you've got a 6 or 7-figure nest egg in a retirement account. That is when it is worthwhile to try to optimize even more so, because an extra percentage point, you're talking 5 figures. You're talking large swings of dollars based on basis points or percentage points. But if early on, and we'll get into it further, a lot of this builds throughout the presentation. So Later on, we'll talk about the two levers that you can pull throughout your life to create and access. And a lot of times earlier on, it's more worth focusing on income and less focusing on the optimization of every little detail for maximum return, because your principal is so small and just inherently the return isn't proportionally as good. So yeah, invest the rest, the underlined portion from last slide. Why I underlined that? I made a video back in January. Semantics are very important. This isn't just nitpicking. If you invest the rest, air quotes, if you're investing the rest into non-productive assets, you do not benefit from compounding. If you buy a Pokemon card that you think someone's going to buy from you down the line for more money, one, you need them to. You need someone down the line to pay more money for the Pokemon card or the speculative asset that you buy, the speculative non-productive asset you buy. Whereas if you buy productive assets, they grow over time, again, assuming that humanity advances, assuming history holds 150-year plus history of the S&P 500, growing, humans innovating, things like that. But yeah, here where I say invest the rest, it's very important that by investing, I mean buying productive assets that can benefit from compounding. And part of the reason that I think investing the rest is important is because, and again, we'll build on this in a further slide, money can always be made. There's always more money to be made. Time, it's a one-way street. Once time is spent, you don't get it back. Ask Warren Buffett, he would gladly trade his tens of billions of dollars, or 100 plus billion at this point. I don't even know exactly what he's worth these days, but he would gladly trade all his wealth, and he said this before, to be 20 years old again and flat broke, or to be 10 years old again and flat broke, because he can make more money, he can't get more time. So do you really want to spend your whole life trading money, trading your time, your limited life on this earth for money? Or do you want to always be working for money, or do you want to work towards making your money work for you? And on that, this will come back again, more tied to Pokemon specifically, but scalability. One thing that investing returns have, investing in productive assets, infinite scalability, near infinite scalability. Your money can work harder and longer than you can without taking breaks. Your money works over Christmas. Your money doesn't take holidays or vacations. It doesn't get sick. It true passive income. I mean, the main and only true source of passive income out there is really investing money in productive assets, dividends, appreciation, things like that. And I did actually link that last point, Mr. Money Mustache. That 10 years ago, before I was into Pokemon, I had a big passion for reading different personal finance blogs and listening to some different finance podcasts. I'm getting back into it more in the past couple of weeks because I've been drowning in Pokemon content, consuming way too much of it. Mr. Money Mustache, though, you can see this article was made 10 years ago. Some of his articles were ones that really flipped the switch for me in my head and sent me down a path towards financial independence. Um, yeah, the next slide we alluded to earlier, the two levers that you have. And here's another link at the bottom, Joshua Kennon's website. I will try to remember to put links to all these in the description. Joshua Kennon is an individual who I believe now he actually owns his own firm, like not a brokerage firm, but he owns his own investing advisement firm. And he had so many great articles on about.com and on his own website about generating wealth and personal finance in general. But yeah, this was one of them. You have two levers you control throughout your life. And those two are income and spending. The two ways to build your wealth, you do that through the use of these two levers. And second point here, I'm an engineer. I was an engineer. In minus out equals accumulation is a formula that's used to do like mass balances around a reactor or around a process. And it works very well. It lends itself well to capital, money as well. So there's three outcomes from this formula. If in and out are equal to each other, it'll come out to zero. There will be no accumulation. That will be the scenario where you go through life, paycheck to paycheck, spending all you earn, never saving anything. And what that leads to is you trade your limited time on earth for money your whole life. And a lot of people do that. And that's, if you're happy doing that, that's fine. You can do that. But that's just what it leads to. In minus out, if in equals out, in minus out equals 0, in equals out, you've got no prospects towards retiring at any point in life. You work, I mean, Social Security, what's going to be there in 40 years? I have no idea. But general concepts here. If in is greater than out, if you increase your income to be in excess of your spending, that is a scenario where you actually have compounding working towards with you. Accumulation. You're accumulating money. You're investing that money into productive assets. Again, note that throughout this presentation, I'm never specifically telling you what to invest in. Those would be best had with a financial advisor. But bear in mind, everything I'm giving you here is actual financial advice. So if you are able to increase your income and or decrease your spending to where your in is greater than your out, you will have accumulation. Your accumulation will compound over time. And the theory and the thought of financial independence is that you accumulate so much that the revenue generated, the passive income generated on the accumulation side can equal to what your out is, what your spending is. And that is what financial independence is. So yeah, the main things you can do, I mean, wrapping up the slide here, increase the inputs. You can make more money. You can grind at work. You can try to climb that corporate ladder. You can play that game, or you can go the side hustle route. I went the side hustle route. I am doing this full time now. It blossomed into my side hustle income exceeding my chemical engineer salary. I quit my job. I'm doing this full time now. So I worked on a side hustle to increase the inputs, to increase my income, and it led me to where I am. Another way that I've actively worked towards is decreasing the outputs, decreasing the spending. So many great finance blogs out there, so many great ways that you can decrease spending. Depending on who you are, depending on your scenario, it's almost always going to be a combination of the two, but one might be lower hanging fruit than the other. So yeah, everyone has opportunities to do either, but sometimes one is really much simpler to do. Here's a great analogy too when it comes to personal finance, and this might ruffle some feathers. Some people might not like this analogy. I've heard this analogy made. I think of Ramit Sethi's book. Apologies if I pronounce that incorrectly, but I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Great book. I need to get back into reading more finance books. I've got like a small library of them that I haven't made it through, but that was one that I did. But personal finance and saving for like retirement is very analogous to weight loss. Get rich quick schemes that I talked about earlier, very, very analogous to these miracle diets or pills that people try to find the easy way out. People try to shortcut it. People try to find the easy way out. They end up getting burned. It doesn't work. You need to really take personal responsibility and abandon the victim mentality. Again, going back, in minus out equals accumulation. It's there in black and white. It's simple math. If you're spending more than you earn, you're going to have a bad time. Not only are you not going to have the compounding if you're spending less than you earn and investing the rest, you're going to have the compounding actively working against you. And the thing is, when compounding is on your side, historically speaking, you're looking at 7 to 10% investment returns historically after inflation. When your out is greater than your in, and you have compounding working against you because you're bridging things with short-term loans or credit cards, historically speaking and actively today, those tend to be in the 20 to 30%, if not higher range. So the compounding works either way, only when it's on your side, it's not as strong. It's significantly stronger and larger when it's working against you. So be careful there. But yeah, as with dieting, I mean, I say this as someone who is knowingly overweight. I've gained about 40 pounds since I graduated college. I need to work towards getting that weight off and getting healthier. But similar to finance, it's easy to say, simple logic, very easy to understand. Spend less than you earn and you'll have money left over. You'll be doing better finance-wise. Eat less and or exercise more, caloric deficit. So in this one, you can do in minus out equals accumulation. Same thing. Calories in minus calories out. Calories in is what you eat. Calories out is what you exercise off. Accumulation is the weight that you gain. If you have more calories out, if you're if your out is greater than your in, you're going to lose weight. That's the way it works. That's simple math. That is, mass cannot be created or destroyed. That is a fundamental law of thermodynamics and physics. And so yeah, applies to weight and applies to finance. Both are difficult though, due to our psychologies, due to we want instant gratification. We want to spend that money, buy that fancy new thing, maybe buy that shiny Pokemon card. But what this all is about personal responsibility and putting in the work. Little closer here for this slide. Hop off that hedonic treadmill. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Hop off the hedonic treadmill and hop onto an actual treadmill. That is something that I need to do. I'm doing very well with it with respect to finances, but it's the same thing. It's simple math. It's a simple mass balance. I just need to eat less or better and or exercise more, and I'll lose weight. I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. What this all leads to, for my own personal story, my end game, where I seek to get with this financial advice that I'm providing to you, financial independence. I talked about it earlier. When your money works for you passively, generating income that exceeds your expenses. I've talked about it before. I've definitely mentioned it before in different podcasts, different lives, different Q&As, whatever. But I have a family of 4. We live on about $50,000 a year. Theoretically, I referenced here the Bengen 4% rule for anyone who's familiar with the FI. Basically, if and when you have 25% of your annual expenses, that is sufficient, historically speaking. It's been back tested across the 150 years of the S&P 500. 25 times expenses, you can draw down 4% of your balance every year, increase for inflation each year, into perpetuity, or for a 30-year period. 30-year period is what they studied, Bengen studied, for the 4% rule. The Trinity study went further with that. They elaborated further. Different mixes. Again, I'm not telling you what mix to have. 50-50 stocks, bonds, 90-10 stocks, bonds, whatever they may be. Look into the Trinity study if you care to read further and look at some of the safe withdrawal rates they came up with. But yeah, at the end of the day, for me, for my family, 4% rule, $50,000 times 25, $1.25 million. Properly invested, theoretically, over past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but historically speaking, $1.25 million invested according to the study's advice. The study has advice for you, or the study has some guidance, not really advice, but guidance. Historically speaking, $1.25 million, you can pull out $50,000 a year, increase for inflation every year. I mean, that would be financial independence for me. So that's my goal. Once I get to that goal, I won't necessarily retire. I mean, I've shortened into FIRE, financial independence, retire early. I don't think I'm going to necessarily ever retire sitting on a beach, going out on a golf course every day, doing nothing money generating, income generating. I think I'll always have a passion like Pokemon that I'll be chasing that will just spit off revenue as it does right now. But yeah, the biggest thing is not necessarily retirement, but having the option too. A little over a year ago, I quit my job. It was something that I couldn't have done had I not saved and had Pokemon, and not only Pokemon, but 10 years as a chemical engineer, saving large portions of my income, well over 25, if not over 35%. It's a safety net that I had there, and it's a runway that I provided myself to allow me to take the risk, quit my job, do this full time. And a little over a year in, it's worked out great. So financial independence can lead to some direct benefits that you're specifically aiming for, but also indirect benefits that you don't really plan for. But having that extra financial security, you never know the opportunities that it can provide. I linked another article from Mr. Money Mustache. Great article on the shockingly simple math behind early retirement. What savings rates will lead to what durations to financial independence, to early retirement. So yeah, that's my whole presentation. That's, or no, sorry. This is the last one to wrap it up. To close, financial advice. Everything I stated here was financial advice. And an additional point of financial advice, do not take financial advice from anyone on the internet, myself included. Consume content, consume a variety of content, both sides of any scenario that you're looking at, whether the stocks, whether crypto, whether Pokemon. Try to take in the bearish sentiment, try and take in the bullish sentiment. Use them as just guidance. You use them to guide you towards creating and taking your own making your own decisions from that, making your own conclusions, drawing your own conclusions from the data provided. So take personal responsibility. Don't take financial advice from someone else so that you can claim victim mentality a year or 2 years or 5 years, 10 years when it doesn't pan out. Take in information, make your own, draw your own conclusions, make your own decisions, your own well-researched, educated decisions, and then take responsibility for what comes of them. And at the end of the day, all this stuff, just like weight loss, it's simple math, it's simple concepts, but the psychology of it is hard. Delaying gratification, saving for the future, not spending now, not buying all those shiny things, shiny cardboard included. And big important thing at the very end, as I said towards the beginning, everyone here in Pokemon, in stocks, in crypto, everyone's playing a different game. We're all playing in the same arena. When we're buying the same cards, when we're buying the same stocks, when we're buying the same crypto coin, we're all playing in the same arena, but we have different goals. Sometimes we play by different rules too. We have very different knowledge and capabilities as well. So even if you find somebody that you like and you agree with on a lot of things, be careful listening to that finance person on YouTube and just trying to blindly copy what they do. Because you might be trading for a day, a week, a month, a year. They might be trading for 50 years or vice versa. They might be talking with a short time horizon. They might be day trading. They might be making moves based on trading on days or weeks or months, and you've got a 50-year time horizon. And those have different goals. There's different rules for them. Don't try to copy paste one to the other. And as I say, I will continue to say from time to time, I'll try to say it less. This video was financial advice. Most of my videos are not, though. When I tell you what I've bought, I'm not telling you to buy it. If you want to buy it, I'm going to tell you why I bought it, show you what I bought, what I spent, when I'm selling it, why I'm selling it. Take that, use it as guidance towards creating your own decisions. That's very important. Listen to me on that. Don't listen to me when I say like, oh, I think this is a good buy. But yeah, and the really funny thing too, the whole not financial advice in Pokemon, you actually don't have to say that. These are not securities. These are unregulated markets. It is really interesting too. The past couple of weeks, more and more I've been getting into personal finance podcasts, different channels out there that basically just take like call-ins. They take Q&As, same way Nick and I do on PokeFlips. They will say, invest in this fund, pay down this debt first, then invest. They will give actual financial advice, and they are not accredited. They are not like certified financial advisors. So there are many areas that you need to be careful, because there are people acting as if they have the credentials to give financial advice, but they don't. And yeah, so always take the personal responsibility very seriously. As always, I appreciate everyone watching. Pretty lengthy video as they've been. I'm trying something different here. Let me know in the comments below. If you've made it this far, there's a decent chance you liked the video. So if you did, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. I know it wasn't very Pokemon specific, but usually they are. So I just wanted to do something a bit different, shake it up, mix it up a little bit. The affiliate link down there. As always, if you click that and buy something on eBay, I get a kickback at no cost to you. We just lower the amount of money that eBay gets, so that's always great. But yeah, that's everything for today. I will catch you all later.